Ewood Park as Blackburn Rovers throw away a 2-goal lead to only get a draw against Luton Town. We'll talk about that and more in a bloody car. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, looking back at Blackburn Rovers' latest match out of the Championship up against those Mad Hatters, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button, get your banger today with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here under one Rooski. That's right, Mowbray's boys shit show, of course. And I'm looking at you, strikers. I'm looking at you, forwards. I'm looking at you, Mowbray, making absolute tits of yourselves when we could have won this game quite comfortably, but of course we didn't, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. Of course, big shout out to those motherfucking P's. I'm talking about the Patreons, and especially big shout out to Conor Medlin, woo, 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 Jim Watton, of course, woo, 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 for the latest member of the Patreon gang. Of course, they did join us this week, so viva la you, viva la welcome, and viva la bloody patrons, of course. If you want to get involved in the Patreon, check out the links down below, patreon.com/RoverSeas. But anyway, let's get into it. Of course, 2-2 in the end. It is a bit of a kick in the bollocks. 2-0 in front. Of course, you would have had a, we should have won this one when you looked at it on paper. Luton just have a way of playing against us, whether it is the shithousery genius of Nathan Jones, or if it's just Rovers' failure to close out games. We'll elaborate on it in a minute. Let's just take a look at the meat of the matter, some of the stats here then, shall we? 2-2 in the end. Goals coming from Tyrese bloody Dolan, and a back flip to include it as well. Fantastic goal, better even celebration. 1-0 lead there. Meanwhile, just a couple of minutes later, it was Harry Pickering getting his first goal in the blue and white of Blackburn Rovers. And at that point, I even said it at half time to the wife. I said, bloody 2-0 up. Pigs, I thought, piece of piss. Piece of bloody piss. But up steps super sub Luke Berry with 2 goals, 2 pretty much not carbon copy goals, but scrappy dappy do goals. Well, the only people that can blame is ourselves on this. So you got to give Luton Town a bit of credit for their determination, for their never say die attitude. But this game was a shit show on all levels. Do I have the stats? I do have the stats here. They had more possession than us. That seems to be the way we're playing these days. They had more possession than we did, 53 to our 47%. We had more shots than them, 11 to their 10. It was quite tight though. And again, four shots off target apiece. A couple of saves each by the keeper Sluga and of course Kaminski. They had 4 corners. We didn't have 1. We had a few free kicks as well, 3 times offside. Let's take a look at some more stats and figures if I can see this right here. I've got to zoom up close to my face. It is tight. I'm in the body car, of course. We did hit the woodwork one time. That was Brereton Diaz, close to the money, trying to get on the goal scoring sheet himself, but he couldn't. We had 359 passes compared to their 405 with pass success rate about 70. They had a 69% success rate. Yeah, take that from me. That's of course both first half and the second half, but the tail tape probably is the change of we won the first half, they won the second half. Of course, in that first half we had 54% possession compared to their 46. We had more shots than they did. Again, they had the corners, but it was all Rovers first half. And then you look at the second half here, and it was all Luton Town in the second half, of course. So you take from that what you will. But what I want to stress, let's just get through this. Let's just get through all the numbers and all that kind of shindig, because I want to take a little look and tell you what happened at the back end of this game. The last 10 minutes. We lost it. That's when we lost it. You can see it in the goals. But management lost it. Players lost it. It's just a chaos. Anyway, here are your starting lineups. Of course, Kaminski was between the sticks. Ayala at the back there, Lenihan as well. Pickering and Nyamba made up a back 4. Probably our best back 4 we've got at the moment. The stupid radio. It's chaos at work right now. We've got Lewis Travis and Ruffo in midfield. Dolan, Diaz, Buckley and Gallagher up top. Diaz did get the nod, of course, with all that squabble with Chile and all that kind of nonsense, but he got the start. No loanees in this 11. Of course, it was a whole Rovers 11, which of course was good to see. Take a look at the subs. Then, of course, we did see the likes of Jacob Davenport coming on, and of course Tyler Magalore. Once he came on, guess what? We shit the bed. We shit the bed at the back. I don't think the kid's ready. I think his loans, when we went to Motherwell last year, I think he needs another loan. He needs another loan, preferably at League One. I think Carter's made a step up. Of course, he got suspended prior to this, so he couldn't have been involved. But shit show at the back. Where's the Dutchie? Where's the Dutch Van Meister? Where is he? We need him on the bench. I don't think Tyler McAlory is cut up. I think I might have got caught up with the fact that he's fast as Usain Bolt, but I'm not sure if I believe in him as a defender at the moment. Hopefully I eat my bloody words, but so far when I've seen him play past couple of games, cameos, I've not instilled me with confidence. As for the opposition, they had Sluga between sticks, Berg, Naismith, Potts, Bree, Osho, Campbell, Cornick, Carlos Mendes, of course Gomez, former Morecambe guy there, Peri Rodemapanzu, we were linked with him, and of course Cameron Jerome, 35-year-old veteran. He should have scored a couple of goals himself, but he missed the trick. They did bring on the likes of Luke Perry with the goals, Sonny Bradley as well, and Henry Lansbury. Some good changes. And like I said, I did have Luton up there, of course, around about 10th, 9th as well in the league. So, you know what, at the end of the day, it's not a bad point, but really, to throw away a game away like that, 2-goal lead, it's a shit show. Here are some more stats and figures in for you. You can see how they were laid out and where the yellow cards and all that kind of dotted around. It was like Christmas cards, mate, dished out all over the place. These are the shot grids right here, right now. Of course, Rovers are representing the orange. Yeah, a couple of long-range stinkers, but nothing really counted. Tyrese's goals probably, in fact, both goals were good. And if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you do so, because the goals are up there. You have a little look at them for yourselves. But ultimately, we shit the bed in the final 10 minutes. And I'll elaborate on that in just a tickety-boo. Let's take a little look at the heat maps then for you. Of course, the Rovers at the top, Luton Town at the bottom. Rovers pretty consistent with the spread of play. A lot of green knocking about. Not really much in the attacking third. As for Luton, again, pretty much spread as well. Quite consistently. Go down the right-hand side. Seemed to be their preferred avenue. But of course, it all ended up straight down the middle in the end, 2-2, of course. Again, here are your match ratings, not from me, but of course a third-party website. And again, down the bottom there, you can see the 10 events with all the Christmas card, yellow cards coming around. Quite surprisingly, though, we did last with 11 against 11, and it was a very, very heated affair. Players, it was a lot of angst going on between these two sides. Of course, got a bit of history in the past with Nathan Jones and his tomfoolery, shithousery, of course, with the ball boys and all that kind of stuff. He likes to wind us up. Maybe, I don't know if he does that to every team or it's just Rovers, but he does. Of course, according to these guys, of course, the man of the match, I believe, Tyrus Dolan with a 7.3, 7.7. Harry Pickering at the back, left back. Not left back in the changing room, that's for sure. He seems to have got the man of the match there. For me, I don't know if I would agree with that. Dolan was a handful, I'll give him that. So it is probably I'll probably give it to Tyrese. I thought he was pretty good today. Was involved with a lot. Did get a yellow card for a simulation, but enough about that. But ultimately, the game was won and lost by Mowbray. To be fair, I think he left it late with the subs, and when he did make the subs, he made 2 defensive substitutions, bringing on Davenport and bringing on Tyler McAlory, when, of course, on the bench was Canada from Brighton. There was, of course, Butterworth as well. There was also a couple of other fellas on the bench. I can't see them at the moment, but they were too cautious, to say the least. And there was no turning back. Once Luton had got their noses in front or got a goal back, I felt it. I bloody well felt it, and it came to bite us in the arse. Meanwhile, of course, on the pitch, Gallagher was very, very selfish and was not being. He didn't see the bigger picture. Why he had other forwards and attacking options ahead of him. Instead of laying it off for a cameo or an assist, he was trying to do it all himself, and it was a stupid. Once I can understand that, but 2 or 3 times when you're not using your opposite, your helpful hands up there, your Berritons, your Dolans, it's a slap of lack of professionalism. If you want to be top of the game, if you want to go represent Scotland, if you want to go represent and play in the Premier League, you've got to do these things. You can't be. Yes, I know there's a time and a place to be selfish, and we saw that with Armstrong last time, and he was very, very selfish. But we're in a game when, of course, we need to get something out of this. And yeah, we got a point, but once you're fucked up, you should have laid it off. You should have laid it off to Brereton. Second time, I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing, Bob, my mate, man? What are you doing? Sake of said, wasting time. Right at the death, there was a chance to lay it up to Brereton, but no. Gallagher thought he was big enough and brave enough and strong enough to hold it in the corner. No, he cannot. He bloody cannot do it. You might see it on TV, on YouTube, and go, yeah, I can do that. I can put it in the ball in the corner. You can't, mate. You can't. I've seen it 2 or 3 times when Rovers try to time waste to put it in the corner, and we screw it up. And we screwed it up today, which ultimately led to the equalising goal. So, clueless stuff on the pitch, clueless stuff in the dugout, which ultimately cost us this game. Luton probably didn't deserve it. In all honesty, it was a very, very feisty game, and again, we could have seen both teams sent off with some harsh tackles. But anyway, that's just a little bit what I've had to say. What about the gaffer? Here's Tony Murray with his thoughts about this match.
Tony, it's a point. Does it feel like less in some regards when it's that late?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a point. It's frustrating because we had the game won really, and should have finished it off. I think at 2-0 we hit inside the post to make it 3-0. And I told the team the last few days, I've watched all 5 games that Luton have played this season, and they never give in. I saw them at West Brom, 3-0 down. I get back to 3-2 and have 2 kicked off the line in the last few minutes, and so they never give in. And it gives great credit to Nathan and his team that that's what they are really. They graft, they work, they fight for everything. I was pretty proud of the team, the way we dug in and competed with that attitude today. So rightly so, we're disappointed to be 2-0 up and to draw, but I thought there was a lot of positives in the mentality of the team. We have to learn how to keep clean sheets. Of course, 6 games now, no clean sheets is not what we want, and yet we've only lost one of them games, and we have to be better at seeing games out than drawing in from 2-0 up.
You know far better than me about it, Tony. You'll have been in these situations so many times. Were your players in the end, and I know it's easy to say after the event, were they too deep?
Strangely enough, I moaned at them when I walked in the dressing room that the kids headed it on the 6-yard box, and yet if you watch it when the boy drops the diagonal in, they're actually on the edge of the box. I question whether the goalkeeper could have come and affected the cross. We have to win the header, and then we have to track the runner. Listen, we can pick on all aspects of it, as you know. We all sit and watch Sky, and we see all these experts telling us who was doing great and who was doing wrong, and what was right and what was wrong. And so your question, whenever a goal goes in, somebody didn't do something right. But my first thought was we were too deep. The reality is, in my mind, as we've all agreed in the dressing room, is the strikers should have deepened off a little bit further rather than, and it just allowed them to pass it across to get into position to hit a diag, because the strikers were still too high up the pitch. We still had 7v5 actually defending it, but things to work on. It's still early season, things to work on for us.
Change of camera angle, sexy. Meanwhile, over on social media, what's going on over there? Rovers Analytics said this: I've never experienced such a poorly managed and refereed game in my life. Unsafe environment to play football in that allowed an absolute circus today. Oliver Langford, that's right. Meanwhile, Northern Rover said weekend ruined at Rovers. Liz Lewis said I can't even. Hashtag Rovers. Talk of Ewood said a crazy game. Glimpses of the quality, grit, determination and comedy for us all to enjoy. However, can't help but feel gutted coming away with just a point. However, how we didn't score in the second half is beyond me. Meanwhile, kicking on further, we have Chris Martin. It doesn't matter how poorly the referee performance may or may not be, you simply can't throw away a 2-0 lead, especially at home. Gutting to say the least. Lewis Hartley said shambles. Absolutely bloody shambles, he said. The one who said, not surely why so many Rovers fans are throwing Sam under the bus alone, as Brero had missed a few gilt-edged chances as well. The scapegoating is not healthy though, either way. Do it better. Harry Dolan Diaz said, I missed the international break. Meanwhile, New York Rovers said pathetic. That's Harry Pickering commenting on his own goal there. This is Liam Diaz. Kaminsky must be wondering what the F he's doing at Rovers. Bloke tries so hard to keep us in games. Mike Delap Diaz also said more than enough chances to see this game off, but when you're not clinical, you're liable to get punished. Rovers pleasantly, Rovers plentifully. Lord, I've lost my English. I'm speaking Viva La Rocca too much. Rovers plenty resilient on the whole, but little lapses at bad times. Only ourselves to blame. Yeah, and also keeping concentration for not just 89 minutes, but for the full match, from the first whistle to the final whistle. Do not let your concentration lapse. Absolutely criminal. What about this? Nathan Longworth said, only us could gift a shower shite team like Luton a point after being comfortably tuned up. Get buggered. Robson Green, not that one, but another one. He said, can't afford to miss chances after chance when we have the worst defence in the league. Espousing result, they will be lucky to stay in the league. Negative substitution this is Chris BRFC. Negative substitution when we should have looked to attack them. Rothwell, one of the best on the pitch, and brings them off. Brereton Gallagher looked knackered for the last 15 minutes. Should have brought on Candra or Butterworth. For bloody sakes. Josh said, embarrassing, different season, same old shit. And then Nick Trigg finally. Frustrating, and we'll end up mid-table at best again. Fair play to Luton for coming back, but 2-0 up with less than 20. Should have been seen out. Should have been seen out. Meanwhile, what's gone on elsewhere around the Championship? Of course, Birmingham picked up a massive win against Derby last night. Meanwhile, Reading against QPR was a 6-goal thriller, 3 apiece. West Brom against Millwall was a 2-goal thriller, 1 apiece there. Bournemouth smashed top Barnsley to put themselves in good spot in the league. 3-0 win over Barnsley. Coventry picked up a big win over Middlesbrough, 2-0 win there. Stoke, of course, back to winning ways with a 2-1 win over Huddersfield. Sheffield United, of course, got their first win and the big one. 8-goal thriller down at Brown Lane, 6-2 in the end. Swansea 0, Hull City 0, Blackpool 1, Fulham 0, Bristol City 0, Preston 0, of course, Forest take on Cardiff tomorrow. This is the situation in the table. Rovers up to 9th or remaining 9th. I don't know, of course. Just a couple of wins so far. This is just 1 defeat. A win for us in our next game. We could go up as high as 4th. Hopefully we can do that. As for Luton, same deal. They could go up as high as 7th if they get the win. Speaking of next, I'll talk about that in a minute. Huddersfield doing pretty... what am I talking about Huddersfield for? West Brom doing very, very well at the top of the table. Fulham are in 2nd, of course, at the moment. At the moment, Forest, Peterborough and Reading going down. Swansea in a bit of trouble. Hull, of course, are next at Ewood Park, and that's our next match. Speaking of next matches here, they come in all their glory. Sheffield United are up there. Preston, of course, they'll take the opposition on Tuesday. Blackpool against Huddersfield. Bournemouth against QPR. Rovers take on Hull City. Join me for the Rib Fest, that is, the next watch along. That'll be, of course, this Tuesday. Reading against Peterborough, of course. West Brom against Derby. Until Wednesday, we have Bristol City against Luton Town. Stoke City against Barnsley. Birmingham against Fulham. Forest against Borough. Swansea, Millwall and Coventry up against Cardiff. And that's all to happen this coming weekend, or midweek should I say. Well, that's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon as well. But of course Rovers threw it all away today when we looked like we were on our way for 3 massive points, which would have been a good old bloody momentum booster heading into another difficult match, or tricky home match anyway, up against Hull City this midweek. We needed the momentum. We have failed on that, but of course we do, of course, keep an unbeaten run going, stretching back from after that West Brom loss. So hopefully we can finally turn a result into a win this midweek, of course, up against Hull City. But that's, of course, to look forward to. Until then, though, be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon as well. Until then, I'll see you soon for the next one, whenever that is. Until then, we are done.